Steph, you already know, but I'm loving your sketch timber stuff. Thanks, Steph. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been fun doing that. It's a challenge, as it should be. That's why they call it like a sketch timber challenge or whatever, right? A drawing challenge. It's been a challenge, but it's been a good one, and I feel like I've been trying to produce and work quickly. Do you know what I mean? And not get caught up in coming up with a concept. I think that's a problem that I've had in the past for a very long time. It's just sort of like living in my own head and like focusing on coming up with a really strong concept, coming up with all these ideas. Like every single time I'm doing a drawing, every single time I'm making a illustration, I actually kind of blame school for this, but yeah, it's just this thing in me where I'm constantly wanting to push it really hard and make everything look really original and unique, and that can be very draining. That can be very tiresome when really just creating an image is sort of like a virtue in itself. I don't know how else to say it, but it's kind of like really just working on the image and creating an image can be a very good thing to do, a good challenge in and of itself. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on lately, I guess. And also like relying upon my history of coming up with other concepts and ideas and sort of reintroducing them or redrawing them, and or thinking about it in a different way for this challenge. That's kind of what I've been doing as well. Ba, ba, ba. Actually, when I became a bad artist, when art was work for an ongoing time. Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about that lately too. There, Ashwin. It's weird how like the most busiest period of time for me, when I was like doing a lot of illustration, doing a lot of gallery artwork, was the time when I was actually the least happiest with the work that I was producing, because it's less about like, for me, it was at that point in time, it was less about coming up with those ideas, although I had to, but it was more about just production. You know what I mean? And it wasn't very satisfying, I guess. I needed time to get back to developing myself and having fun, right, for sure. And I'm definitely having fun now. Steph, that'll be cool, yeah. It's a good challenge for speed, it is. I feel like I'm getting into a sweet spot with the work that I've been making lately, where it is kind of like rough in some respects, but it's just right for me. I think like I don't know, like definitely the work could be more polished, but also I kind of just like how it looks right now. So like, let's say we do other challenges in the future, they're probably going to be just about that level. And maybe if I make more polished artwork, they won't be too far. Woo! They won't be too far from what those look like already. All right, let's put the torso back on. I can feel that it's not like really snug, this part here. But there we are. This is like just her basic form, I guess. And these little like points, that's where you can add on armor. She has like extra armor parts that you can put on, or you can buy other armor parts from other sets to add on and make her look more buff. Oh, actually, there's an example of it right here. Just like that, you can make her look more armored, ready to kill, I guess. Yeah, these are examples of mixed parts, different hairs. So cute. Yeah, it's pretty cute. I like it so far. Steph, they already look like finished illustrations to me. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, though. It's kind of like, because it's a daily challenge and we have to kind of get something out there every day, that forces me to push it out. Whereas if I had infinite time, I might just keep on looking at it and working on it for a few more days, a few more weeks, blah blah blah. And then there is a tendency for me, like I know that it's a me problem, where there is a tendency for me to overwork things. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely I definitely can do that. Where it's there's something really nice about the spontaneity, I guess, the spontaneity of working on a sketch, a doodle, knocking it out in a day, and and you can feel it. You can feel the spontaneity. You can feel that creativity. And the more I work on something, the more we kind of get away from that, and the more it just looks overworked. Steph, I know the struggle. Yeah, yeah. Um, Matter of fact, back in college, there was this one point. I'll never forget this. Here's the. This isn't quite a deep dark origin story, but it's close. And we had these one-on-one conversations with our instructors to kind of like assess our work that we were doing thus far. And this was the final year of our program. And so we had this talk with like a couple of instructors. We would show our work. And this was actually going to be the illustration that would then go into the yearbook of sorts. It's sort of like a yearly art book, or the art book that gets produced for the graduating class. That's a better way to put it. At my school, we for every graduating class we produce effectively an art book for each, and each student gets a page to put out a piece, you know, and it's sort of like it's going to be your best piece of artwork. It's going to be the culmination of all your brilliant ideas and all the things that you've thought of and all the things that you've learned throughout your years in art school, right? And I remember showing them what I intended to do, and it was stupid. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I overthought. I definitely overthought this idea. It was like I had this idea in mind where I was going to draw like two different illustrations, right? And one would be something that you would see in person at the gallery year-end show, and another thing would be something that you would see within the art book itself. And that if you looked at both, it would like combine. I don't know. It's so stupid. Even just saying it just sounds so stupid, but it made a lot of sense to me at the time. And a sleep-deprived Ray, a sleep-deprived Ipo, definitely, it seemed like a brilliant, amazing idea at the time. And I remember explaining it to them, very poorly, by the way, showing them like the progress I had done thus far. And my instructors, there was two of them, they looked at each other. I finished talking, they looked at each other, just dead silence, and then there's kind of like, that's a lot. Let me see your sketchbook. I think the let me see your sketchbook comment was kind of like, let's go back to square one. Let's go back to the source material, right? Let me see your sketchbook. And so I showed them my sketchbook, right? And they're going through it, and they're seeing all sorts of crazy crap in my sketchbook that has nothing to do with anything that I was talking about for my concept for my final illustration. But they're seeing all sorts of nutty stuff. And matter of fact, one day we'll crack open the sketchbook, some of my old college sketchbooks, and we can go through it, and you'll see what I mean. And they're like, "This is it. See this? This is what you should be doing, because it's spontaneous." Back to what we were talking about before. This is like spontaneous. I can feel the immediacy. You're not overworking it. This is you, right? It's just like this instantaneous kind of drawing and feeling and mood, and it just works. This is what we should be doing. And then everything that you were explaining before, it's just overworked. It's just too much, right? So you need to go back to this. And that was sort of like, I haven't really forgotten about that comment, because that's something that I try and keep in mind to this day, is just that, like, trying to be more spontaneous with my work and not overthink things, if that makes sense. Steph, last year I did a daily illustration challenge, and it looked finished, even though in my mind I knew I could do better if given more time. Right. Yeah. And yeah, I'm the same way. Like with a lot of the stuff that I've been doing, I'm kind of like, ooh, I want to change it. Ooh, I want to fix it. But it's kind of like, also, let's just move on. Let's just move on with our lives and move on to the next day. And it's just a good habit, I think. It's just a good habit to spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just it's a bit of time to do some drawing, if you're gonna make that like a habit and a routine. And that's another thing that I've been talking about with Ashwin also, regarding warming up. Like we were talking about Jim Lee, and he spends an hour warming up, and I think that's just a good habit to have. Yeah, for sure. Steph, oh gosh, yeah. Sounds impressive and intimidating. Let me see your sketchbook is like saying, let me see your bedroom without giving you time to clean up. It's like, no, don't look. Okay, guys, so if we do that, purple sketchbook stream, let's go. Yeah, if we do that, I'm going to have to censor some pages. Some pages are just off limits because there might be nudity in them, and that's a no-go. Not me, by the way. It's just like, drawing, life drawing and stuff. There might be some nudity, there might be some personal information, there might be even some what do I want to say, embarrassing personal writing. And so yes, many pages will have some post-it notes like this covering up a bunch of pages. No doxing myself. It's worse than doxing. Just really embarrassing writing about my personal life and things that were going on with my life at the time. It's not good. It's actually making me cringe just thinking about it now. So yeah. Vanilla, let me see your sketch. Which one exactly? Yeah, you got the public facing sketchbook, and then there's the super embarrassing sketchbook. Vanilla, I can't be the only one drawing 3 sketchbooks at the same time. I'm right there with you. Look at here. This is my travel sketchbook right here. This is my travel buddy sketchbook. I even got some pens with me. And then we've got this sketchbook. This one's kind of like I'm maining this sketchbook right now. Here, there's a little Animal Crossing person there. Here, let's take a quick look what's in here. Let's take a quick look. Oh, what's this? It's a fat Nurgle demon from Warhammer. There's a demon in Warhammer called the Great Unclean One. Looks kind of like that. And this is the kinda sorta Great Unclean One. And that's a little, yeah. What else? This is okay, so lately this is what my sketchbooks look like. This is what you'll see. It's just a bunch of nonsense. And if any of you have been checking out my Instagram, I've been posting like the Procreate time lapse of my artwork, and you'll know that like the first couple of seconds of that little clip is usually just a bunch of doodles like this, a bunch of nonsense, and then eventually I find an idea and then I kind of work on it more. It's kind of how I work. Let's see, what else do we got here? Here's some dwarfs. Do you guys like dwarfs? I was drawing some dwarfs. They're based off of the Lord of the Rings. So I think it's a Swedish edition of Lord of the Rings, and they look like this on the cover, and it's so funny. So I wanted to draw more dwarfs like that. What else do we have here? Do you guys remember when there was a Sailor Moon challenge? Like, draw this in your own style, Sailor Moon? I started to draw this, and then I was like, I hate this. I don't like it. So there's that. Some ghosts. You guys like ghosts? Just a quick look, guys. Jim Henson. You guys like Jim Henson? Jim Henson is one of my creative heroes. And for those of you that have seen this one, was it? No. Well, this, for those of you that have seen this, if you look here, this is actually some of the original concept sketches, the tiny, tiny little doodles for this. Let's catch up with the chat. Vanilla, fuck yeah, nudity. I can show text I wrote because my handwriting is illegible. What? Your handwriting is illegible? That's fair, Steph. Ashwin, how do I deal with this conflict set ablaze? My booba? Exactly, man. It's embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Cute stickers. Fatty demon, kind of cute. Smelly. Grotesque has never looked so cute. Make some tattoos. Ooh. Hey, how do we... Is there a place where we can make a temporary tattoos? Is there a thing that we can do for that? That would be really cool. We could make temporary tattoos and then we can all put them on. Let's look into that. I'm going to look into that. Let's make temporary tattoos. Carmen would love a tattoo of Ipo's art. I actually have drawn a... it happened only once in my entire life. But yes, I've designed a tattoo for someone. One time I did it. And I was so nervous because I was like, yeah, you want my art on your body. You know that's like forever, right? And I was like, how do you want it to look? What do you want? Like, what kind of style do you want, right? And then he was like, no, I want your style. Just do it. Just do it like how you draw, and then we'll get the tattoo of it. And I never saw it. I never saw the finished product. I gave it to him, and he really liked it, but I never saw how it looked on his body. So I'm kind of concerned, but hopefully. Steph, oh, Jim Henson Kermit. Yes. Love Jim Henson Kermit. Ashwin, I really feel Ipo in his work. Yes, I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? We kind of want that. We kind of want to have the personality come through in the artist. That's one I don't like. I don't like it when you don't really see the human behind the artwork. Do you know what I mean? The shading. Vanilla, all tattoos are temporary if you think about it. Oh, there you go. I guess so. Someone got a tattoo of my work, but the guy who did the transcription ruined it. Broke your heart. Uh-oh. Now the lady who got it is trying to get it fixed somehow. Uh-oh. Half her back. Ooh, half her back, dude. See that? Yeah, that's not good. So here's an example again. This tiny little drawing here was like all the information that I needed to know for like the composition. And then I had this idea of having little ghosts hanging around. It was kind of like the same composition as the ring wraiths chasing the hobbits, you know? I wanted to do something like that for that. What else do we have here? I was drawing some these are like memory cards for the Dreamcast and Sony PlayStation. That's a UMD. These are the things I like to draw, guys. Oh, here's the wizard. I recently, Steph and Vanilla might be familiar with the wizard that I had drawn for Sketchtember. This is one of the original drawings, I think, for the wizard. Mr. Shaggy Wizard Man. There's the another composition, sort of exploring how I was going to compose this image. I didn't go with this, but I still kind of like that. And here's a study. This is a study of Jeff Smith, the author of Bone, the author and artist of Bone. This is just a study of how he composes his images. That's something I like to do too, is kind of study other artwork and and just do a quick sketch and write a little bit about how they do their compositions. Let's see, what else do we got here, guys? Let's see. Anything worth mentioning? This is a little Undertale. The character from, oh, sorry, not Undertale. He's is the main character from Deltarune, and this went on to become a an illustration for my thumbnail for the game when I was doing a run on the game on Twitch and posting it on YouTube. That's an example of, I would then color it on Photoshop, blah blah blah. And here's a rough example. Whoa, here's a rough example of the same drawing. I didn't like that, so I drew it again. Actually, I want a platforming game in your style. Yeah, that would be really fun. I've actually been looking at software to make your own game. There's a program called RPG Maker, and I was thinking I could make like a visual novel using that. Here's another page filled with moronic doodles, trying to draw like a frog character, and I just keep on going. Frogs and weird things and sock puppets. I think this was like I was attempting to think about what I wanted my my avatar to be for stream. I was thinking of a frog or a sock puppet. What else we got here? Getting close to, I think. Oh yeah. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, this will be the last thing I show. Here's an example of another drawing for Hollow Knight, and I did this for the thumbnail again. I played Hollow Knight just a little bit. I played it probably like 4 or 5 times on stream, and then I uploaded it, but I actually didn't like playing that game all that much. And I did this drawing, and again I colored it on Photoshop. And there was a lot of people that really, really liked the finished one, right? There's a lot of fan art for Hollow Knight, so it kind of got a lot of attention, more than like my art normally does, really. And it was kind of like one of those times where it's like, wow, you guys really like this, eh? You guys really like Hollow Knight, cool. But I don't think I'm ever gonna draw any more Hollow Knight art because I didn't like the game all that much. I was like, wow, I could do more. The thought occurred to me, I should do more because people like that stuff. I could draw other Hollow Knight characters, right? And then I realized that I wouldn't be having any fun, so I decided that wasn't gonna be a thing. But yeah, this is like my main sketchbook for now that I've been using.